What is up, crawler fans, RC enthusiasts, and social media surfers? I'm your boy Josh with TRX4m RC, and today we're gonna freaking battle another set of freaking RC cars. That's what we're gonna do. Holy smokes. Why? I don't know. It's what we do, bro, because it's fun. That's why, dude. It's fun. It's challenging. It's freaking rewarding as all crap, dude. I love this stuff. Man, I'm sure glad you're here to hang out. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. If you have not yet, dude, freaking subscribe, like, comment. Dude, glad to have you. Thanks for hanging out, dude. If you are not new here, like you've been here, dude, share this video with somebody new. Post it in your favorite group. I don't know. I'd sure appreciate it, dude. So, man, Prime on its back. Next up, Craig running Hard Part Goblin. Let's go. Sporty mode. Looking good, bro. He's on Super 8s. Where's those Deluxe Fab axles? I don't remember. I think those are Super 8s is what those are. He's got the upgraded, like, titanium shaft. That's what it is. They're Super 8s with the titanium shafts or something like that from Deluxe Fab. That's what it is. Something like that. Pretty fabulous. If you ask me. Deluxe fabulous. Coming up in the TRX Prime, this is Endura Diamonds axles. If you do want this rig, I'm more than happy to sell you one, but I am not going to list it. We're waiting on the Mias TRX axles. So, quick thing on the Mias axles. I have SCX Mias axles. Waiting on the TRX. They're coming. Should be here in a week. I thought they were going to be here today. Not so. Wrong shipment. So, anyways, they'll be here, I think, in a week, maybe less. So, those are coming Mias parts. You could build the TRX Prime with incredible steering. So, running my SCX24 Mias is coming up. I'll be showing it off in just a minute. I noticed the front wheels are starting to wobble. So, when I looked at it, I haven't taken it apart yet, but I noticed that there was a lot of slop in the bearing. It wasn't in the joint between the bearing and the knuckle. It was in the bearing itself. That means that we just have to replace the bearings, which I'm sure they are cheap aluminum bearings in those axles. So, I heard somebody talking crap about the Mias axles. I'm guessing they developed some slop and some play. Well, why? Well, they use cheap aluminum bearings. Seems like you shouldn't use aluminum for bearings, but it seems like the Endura, many of the other bearings that you get for the class will actually be made out of aluminum. They do have steel bearings, but if you ever run steel and aluminum, number one, it's going to cause it to wear, and also if it doesn't wear, you know, just it's going to, like, one is harder than the other, but also it could cause seizing, which is going to cause it to score and wear way faster. So just a cheap bearing. So those are going to need to be replaced. I will come up, obviously MOFO has them, and I will replace those. If those seem to do the trick, then that's what we'll suggest. Hopefully those are a steel, you know, bearing as well. I would hope that, you know, so far as I know, Nick be putting out some freaking good stuff. There you go. Speaking of Nick at MOFO, did anybody see the freaking servo test? Maybe you were a little bit underwhelmed at the presentation, but if you pay attention to the numbers, and you know Nick's heart. Sorry about the rain. We're just going to push through it. I hope it's not too freaking bad. So I have a freaking metal roof over my head. We got no insulation, dude. So if it gets any louder, I'll have to quit. So right now it's just sprinkling. Anyways, but if you have not checked out the servo test, go check it out. You know, you got to pause it to read the numbers. He didn't even display the numbers at the end. Why? It's because it's unfair. Just go watch it. You'll have to see it. It was unfair, right? I'm privy to information, and I got to be careful what I say because he asked us not to say the things that he said, right? So, but I know I said these things before I talked to him. I knew from knowing Nick's heart that he didn't want to talk crap about anybody, right? Because I know I had the same feeling when I, you know, wasn't super happy with the current Torque Beast or whatever that was out, you know? I know that I didn't want to say, hey, Nick, it's, you know, I choose something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to put that video out. You know, I put one video out, talked about making others, and I just never went back to it. If anybody was around then, I was talking about 050 brushed motors and comparing the current, I think it was a 2.0 Torque Beast, So it's a long time ago. There's more torque beast other options, and what I had to say in that video doesn't even, you know, rip till you flip. Doesn't even have anything to do with the current one. So anyways, all that to say, just I knew that Nick, from what I saw, I knew that Nick just didn't want to hurt any feelings, right? And so anyways, I just want to say shout out to Nick, dude. I super duper appreciate that. And the freaking rain is picking up. I hope it's not killing this video, dude. But I just super appreciated Nick just kind of pulling punches, you know, and not going after these people, you know. And so, but you can just go watch yourself, man. Pick your favorite servo. It probably didn't do well. There was only a couple. You could tell just from the numbers, dude. Servos that you should spend money on. Number one, Black Label servo. It has huge numbers on 8.4. Only 5 less than the Reefs 179, which would be the third servo on the list of best servos that you should buy, right? Servos that you should be spending money on if you really want to get an upgrade. Number one, if you want to just get the best, Servo Beast by MOFO. Number two would be Reach from, or well, number two you should buy would be Black Label. Actually, that would be my number one. Black Label 2.0 should be your number one purchase because it's only 15 ounces less. Servo Beast beat it by 15 ounces, and the Black Label, or the Reefs 179 beat it by 5 ounces. That's it on max 8.4 test. And obviously, as Nick said in the testing at the end, maybe at the beginning as well, this is electronics, right? So it's a bit of a luck of the draw. And so, you know, it's not necessarily completely fair, right? Like, so maybe you got another Reefs and it was even stronger. Or maybe you got a Servo Beast and it wasn't quite as strong, right? Like, it was just one servo tested by each of these different things. But it is very interesting to see multiple servos did not make it, including maybe your favorite servo. You know, he didn't really try to blow it up. He didn't really try to push it. But it was also interesting to note the feedback from the community, from some of these, quote, reputable companies that are supposed to be, you know, whatever, and American companies, and their parts got shown up, and then they acted like little bees, you know, and that's really not cool. So if you want to buy a great product, dude, support Nick at MOFO. I guarantee you he's making less money than those people, and he's selling you a better servo. And it comes with a servo mount, which pretty much takes up his profits. You know, like literally, I'm not joking you. This is how it really is. And it is the best servo with the best servo mount with a super quality servo horn. There you go, dude. Can you beat it? I don't know. Good freaking luck. Just go look at the testing. So there you go, dude. So that'd be the top 4 servos would be your by power, I think was, or maybe not the power, but the top servos that I would say spend money on would be number 1 again. I would say Black Label 2.0 would be my favorite, but you know, as far as you can get it for a better deal, and you really aren't gaining a huge amount. You would probably be better off instead of spending the $10 on a Servo Beast, go ahead and spend that $10 or whatever, $12 on a BEC and get your voltage up. So that would be more important than spending the $10 or whatever it is, the difference to get the Servo Beast. Although you just want the best, there you go, add them up, go ahead and spend an extra $10 and get the Servo Beast with the deal, and you get all of the freaking power. Pretty freaking amazing. There you go. So we have Black Label and Servo Beast. Again, in there is the Reefs 179, definitely super duper quality servo. And then the Endura actually tested out very well and held the numbers very well. It did start to build up heat, but as far as in the little testing, the Endura servo, the 11 kilogram servo, is pretty freaking beast, dude. So anyways, that's what it was, dude. If you haven't watched it, just that's the rundown. And at the end of the day, dude, Nick from MOFO is killing it, dog. I will say what he did kind of brag on them. He said that his servos are his got to be his most quality thing that he has. He also probably makes the least amount of profit if he makes any money on them at all. So especially since he backs them up and gives them away. So at the end of the day, he's probably not making any money having the best freaking servos on the market, basically at the price. So when the Black Label 2.0 is about the same price, or is almost the same power as the Reef's 179, and you get it for $55 with the dope ass best servo mount ever and aluminum servo horn. And the Reef's is $85, so that's $55. The Reef's is $85 with no mount, and I don't think it comes with aluminum servo horn either. Come on, go figure, bro. That just shows you that Nick could be charging that same $85 for his servo, because it's a better servo, his servo beast, and he could charge you $20 for a servo mount.
All that for nothing.
Just realize that. Like, people need to realize what Nick is doing. He could easily put a $20 price tag on the BSME and charge you $20 more for his servo, and then he would be making money, right? So he needs your help, dude. He needs us to buy his parts, because he only makes, you know, what was he making, like $5 on his servo and mount on the Black Label, something like that, maybe more. He didn't tell me these things. I'm just adding it up, just knowing what it costs, you know, and anyways, you know, so, and what he has told me, you know, anyways, I don't want to say too much. That's enough about that. All right, so I had a little bit of battery issues there. I had a battery wire loose, or something was kind of quitting, and I had messed with it. And yeah, I didn't want to mess with it anymore. So I swapped rigs. Now we are in the Primeus SCX24. The baddest rig that I have at this point. It is incredible. Sometimes a little long. My little shock deals do kind of get caught up. You know, maybe we'll have to add and make that bigger or something. It's one of those things that, you know, you want to have as much clearance as possible, but at the same time, sometimes you can add things in there that take up a little space, but make transitions much better. So, anyways, maybe some of that stuff will change shape slightly in time, but as much as it does catch up, and as much as it may be a hindrance at times, like right here, I am catching a little bit. There are times that you can use it to pivot. You can use it to do all kind of cool things that are, you know, tricks and benefits of having that little hang up right there, covering the shock, or the one on the link. Sometimes they do kind of, you know, they're not a smooth transition, but what are you gonna freaking do? So you win some, you lose some. We can add a little material in there sometime, you know. Again, I'm not worried about it. I'm just being honest about the things that I do see that, you know, are kind of holdups, you know. The only thing I know of is that right there being a holdup, well, because it is so long. So one thing that we could do is just shorten up the rear end a little bit. That would help. You know, you could you could definitely run it as a medium. So if you didn't like that and you thought the Prime was cool, and you know, it's running super long, 7 inches exactly, 177 millimeters. Freaking amazing. 5x7, dude. 5 inches wide. It's actually a little bit shy, I think, of 5 inches, and 7 inches on the dot long. So that's pretty crazy wheelbase. You know, like for instance, I've been thinking about, you know, I'm gonna do MOA. MOA is next, dude. I'm not gonna talk too much, but MOA is next. I gotta get this stuff all wrapped up. I can't get too excited about it. But we'll get MOA taken care of, and then after I do MOA, we're gonna move on. You know, well, we may address some things, and you know, like any catch-ups or things that aren't strong enough, or you know, maybe new materials, whatever. We'll deal with all these things, and we'll move to MOA. After MOA is going to be Mini, I think. We'll see. I may get hung up on MOA and never move on. So, because I am so stoked on the MOA that I have planned, you know, as far as just like electronics on my V1, and V1 will probably become budget, right? So we'll start off super duper cheap, and then we'll learn what it's all about. We'll make sure that our budget one is able to compete, and then we will begin to push the limits on you know, materials or whatever. We can get some support. Maybe we can do some really cool things. So, but I have really cool ideas, and it could potentially even be a cheaper build than what we're driving here, right? Like literally, that's pretty freaking awesome. So I'm not 100% confident, because I don't know how, you know, about all these little parts. There's a couple little parts that I have to buy, I have to have made for me, and then there's going to be, printed plastic, you know, so a bunch of, you know, plastic housings and plastic, all kind of stuff, you know, that I have to come up with. And, you know, again, oh no, Craig, no, he's got up, he overvolted or undervolted, browned out, bull crap, something. It just wasn't good. It was a tire got caught, and it just locked up the system. No good. All right, here we go. Twisting up in here, so freaking nasty. I can't remember, did we make this? I'm pretty sure we make this. Look at this, dude. Look at it, so like twisted and off to the side. We're stepping up in the rear. That is so nasty, bro. I know it's not so nasty here, but we were in such a crazy leaned off position, just trying to find traction. Got it. So somebody was saying, Gibson Life was saying that 65 pins are better than these in XHX. Maybe potentially, you know, at a certain point with the pins, but at the same time, the pins begin to let go. So they do have good traction, and ultimately you get them to hook up. But the pins, I like the pins because they do have a great slip to grip, right? You know, they do have good grip, and then also when you cut them, they do have good grip. But they are pretty slip to grip, you know, like they do have a lot of slip, and unless they're cut, they don't have good side hill. They just slip. You know, I ran pins like as the best, right? They are, yeah, I get it, I understand. But they're also smaller than this, so they're a little too small for this rig. And then these tires are freaking killing it, dude. I cut the corners off these tires on this rig, and I think I like it better. So this is my second driving on these rocks here, and I really feel like it turns better. But also part of the problem is that these rocks here get sand, or then also like they make your tires like gray, and the more gray they get, the more slippy they get. They just push and don't grab, you know. So it's just they just build up from the concrete. So if you wash them and clean them, I would say that, you know, maybe they're comparable cleanliness, right? Like if they're both the same clean, they're probably about the same. They have a little bit different characteristics, but on this rig, rip till you flip.